Son muy favoritos.
Hello, hello, hello. Hola a todos. We are here in the first episode of the Green Cast World podcast. My name is Jihan. Hello. And this is Ana Celia.
I
hi.
am Ana. Hey.
Don't be shy. We are starting this podcast and we really probably don't know what we're doing, but we're going to do it anyway because we just want to have a laugh and we want to talk about environmental issues and we want to talk about green marketing and we want to talk about recycling and being green in the Latino community as well. So this is going to be a Spanglish, se habla español, se habla Spanglish, de todo un poco. So if this is for you, please stick around to know a little bit about us. I'm going to leave it to Ana Celia to speak a little bit and then I'll tell you a little bit more about me. There you go.
No. Hey, thanks, Jihan. First of all, thank you so much for doing the first step and inviting me to do this, to speak about many things that we both enjoy doing, and just start a project in which we can share with everybody, because sometimes those small little things can be simple and part of our life, because we have been doing it for quite a few times. Sometime, but for some people it can be something completely new and life changing. So those little things will make the difference and will be the main reason because we are gonna stay around people that wants to hear from us. I was thinking a lot why I am in this moment right now, how all this passion about nature start. And I start to think the first thing that I did in Venezuela. I remember to start recycling where is no recycling system. I used to take cardboard and paper directly to the factories. And then I started with a organization called Tapas por Vida that collects small plastic cups and processes them to make a supply for other factories that then will use the profit to donate to kids with cancer organization. Something amazing. Then I moved to the US, where there is no lack of anything. There is everything everywhere, so cheap, so quick, so fast, so good. But still, so now the problem is the opposite. So many options that you have and that you don't really need. So now I'm trying to find the balance in my life between the past that I used to live with lack of resources and now having too much resources that I don't really need, and I'm finding the way how to just take what I really enjoy and having the environment always in mind. So I feel super excited to start sharing all these ideas with you, with everybody. And as you said, I'm not sure if I'm ready, but I'm excited, and that is enough. So let's do it and see how it goes.
Yeah, I think the first step, the first and hardest step is always to get started. I can't speak now, but I wanted to say, well, it's funny that we both started our kind of environmental efforts since we were very young without not really knowing or not putting a name on it. Like being green and being eco-friendly, it's something that's a little bit trendier now. However, that is something that it has been growing in lots of communities, and the Hispanic community especially. There's a lot of things that our abuelas did that they didn't call it recycling. They just did it because they were being frugal and they were trying to be proactive. But yeah. Oh, and I wanted to mention Ana Celia is in Boston and I am in the UK. So we are in two complete different worlds, although I lived in the United States for 7 years, and I understand how overwhelming it can be to have so many resources and to have so many things that are disposable. Like, I love America, but it is the land of the disposableness. Like everything is like, I used it once, never mind, I can throw it away, I'll get another one. Everyone buying plastic water bottles, like, you know, drink it, bin it. Like that is the way things are.
Oh my God.
So it looks normal for the vast population there, but not realizing that sometimes when you're using this single-use plastics, it just goes directly to the landfill and it doesn't get reused, and that is a problem, people. That is a problem because they don't just disappear. Lots of the things end up being in the oceans, end up being in landfill, and we need to do something sooner rather than later, or it's just gonna it's gonna get out of control. So we hope to, I mean, come here. We're not environmentalists, we're not experts. We are just very passionate about what we do and how we do it and how we help the environment. And we're trying to do a little bit, like whatever we can do. So yes, so should we say a little bit of what we expect to talk about in the next episodes?
Yes, we were first considering talking about greenwashing, because there is a lot out there. I personally feel victim of many. But that's fine. I mean, it's a process, it's a learning process, as you will have in any other area on your life. So that is one of the first topics that we are going to talk about. I'm also going to share my perspective as a small business owner. If have a eco-conscious life at home, or trying to have it at home, it's difficult, challenging sometimes. You cannot imagine how much, how more difficult can be when you have a business, and of course sales have to be one of the priorities. So that is another thing that we are going to share. I don't know if you remember all of them.
A lot of we do want to touch in greenwashing, because it's a big thing. I don't want to say too much because it's for the next episode and episodes after that. But yeah, a little bit of that. We also want to talk a little bit about small changes that you can do in your everyday life. Some green businesses that are out there already doing something to help the environment. They're already trying their best. We want to talk about, especially about Hispanic traditions, and how in a way or another we have this kind of mentality of whether it comes from trying to be green or just trying to save money. I don't know. Yeah. From wherever it comes, it doesn't really matter. The thing is that the traditions that are there and have been for generations, and I'm pretty sure any Hispanic person listening to us will recognize some of this. And I hope that once you start listening, I hope that people start sharing. Maybe they have other stories from their abuelas or whoever doing green things. What else are we going to talk about? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I was about to say that we say Latin because it's probably a huge part of our background. But also my grandma actually was European, and she would ask the same. One of the words that I will generalize it will maybe be immigrants. Also, being an immigrant give you that attitude of saving, because you are in a land that you don't really belong to fully. So you gotta make sure you control your resources, because you don't know when you are gonna lose it, and you don't have anywhere to go. It's different when you are in your country, and you know that if something goes wrong, you run to your mom's house or you run to your friend's house. But when you are like moving, you tend to save more, but sometimes you exaggerate. So we are going to talk also about the balance between saving resources and using the right resources, thinking in the environment. Because before you start thinking that we are a little obsessed with this, that is something that I always share with my friends. Yeah, but I don't know if you feel it with some of your friends. They look at you like, oh my God, you are going crazy, because maybe you organize a picnic and you say like, hey, let's try to be conscious, bring your own bottle of water. And they say like, oh, okay, Ana is coming again with that. Yeah. But I always, that's my saying. Think about the environment as you think about a friend about how you think about our relatives, but just keep in mind that that friend, call it environment, is the one that gives you the water you drink, give you the air you breathe, and give you the earth you walk on. So it's not just somebody else, it's the friend that you own pretty much everything. So
yeah, I think there's also a misconception, because back in the day they used to think that whoever was an environmentalist was a hippie. Like, it used to be like, oh, those are the hippies living that lifestyle, whatever. But that has changed.
That's what my family says.
We can be cool. We can be cool people. But yeah, but that, I think once you get it, you start thinking that way, then you start seeing things differently. Like, I remember a few weeks ago, I never buy paper for the kitchen. Like, I use cloths, right? But a few weeks ago, Steve, my partner, he went and bought paper, and then I saw it and I went, oh, naughty, what is this? And he was like, oh, it's because we're going to cook chicken. And yes, I get it, you're cooking the chicken, you want something that you can wipe and put away. But I was like, why are we buying paper? So little things like that sometimes they're hard as well to stop doing, because practicality and you want to be sanitized and COVID and all of those things. But hopefully we can make this chat, we don't want it to be boring either, so do expect humor and the occasional words here and there. And because it's the trick is not to make these things boring, because being environmentally conscious doesn't have to be boring, even though it is a heavy, important topic. But I'm pretty sure we can make it a bit more light and lively, and hopefully help generations and help people out there to start making little changes
and just have fun and
just have fun
tips for ourselves.
And don't roll your eyes when someone tells you to recycle or something. They go, aquí viene esta con su reciclaje. No, it's important, people.
No. Recycle is not enough. That is another statement that we gotta say over here. But let's see, we have a lot to share. So let's go step by step, showing that also we are regular human beings and we do a lot of things that are not quite right in environmental way. We are still working on it. We are doing our best every day.
It's a learning process. Yeah. And that's the thing, we don't claim to know it all. We're just learning as we go, and I think that's just about that, just sharing the knowledge and whatever we've got there. I want to close this by saying we did record this a few days ago. However, happy Earth Day. What are you guys, I don't know, are you doing anything for Earth Day?
No, I have no plans, but most likely I'm not the kind of person that do a lot of big plans ahead. I like to be very spontaneous, but most likely I'm gonna do a picnic because I love them, and weather is going amazing. Most likely I'm gonna do something special at the restaurant as well. So let's see. Keep updated on the social.
You said the
media.
keyword there, weather, because I live in the UK. So yes, right now it was snowing.
It's the same thing.
It was snowing 2 hours ago. Like, we're in spring. Why is it snowing? But yeah, the other topics for global crises and stuff. But yeah, anyway, for Earth Day, I don't know, I'm hoping to do some planting, some seeds or something. Probably a picnic is a good idea if the weather lets us. Also, we are going to eventually launch an Instagram account where we hope to share some tips and share some more fun content, just in case you miss us too much during the week, so you can also always have a little bit of us over there. But we hope to see you soon. If you have any questions, just hit us. You can speak in Spanish, en español, en inglés, en portugués, maybe, no importa.
Why not?
Las preguntas. Yeah. So
portuñol también.
Yeah, portuñol. So tune in, and we hope to see you soon.
Anna, see you soon.
Bye-bye.